Hello everyone, my name is Noel McKeon. I am the Business Development Manager for IntelliTrack. IntelliTrack is the simplest way to manage your inventory. This session will focus on data collection modes in IntelliTrack Mobile. This is a feature that determines how, when using a mobile computer or handheld, data is collected and sent back to your IntelliTrack account. This feature is available as long as you have the proper licensing and access to the IntelliTrack mobile application. By having the ability to select either RF or batch mode, IntelliTrack users are in complete control of the data collection method that best meets their requirements. This is another example of how the flexibility of IntelliTrack can really help out our customers and meet the diverse needs that exist in today's marketplace. During the webinar today, I'll explain the basics of both RF and batch mode data collection. Additionally, I'll discuss the advantages of each mode, and then I'll provide a hands-on demonstration of IntelliTrack Mobile and show how to change from one mode to the other. I will show data collection in RF mode first, and then I'll demonstrate how to properly use batch mode, including the download, upload, and processing of data. Let's talk about RF mode first. RF mode requires that the handheld is connected to the internet using a wireless connection. That connection can be achieved using either Wi-Fi or a cellular data connection through a wireless provider. RF mode is used to perform real-time data collection. Transactions performed in RF mode are immediately validated and sent back to your IntelliTrack account. RF mode is the more popular of the two data collection methods available. The advantages of RF mode include real-time data collection or synchronization, and as a result also providing the most accurate and up-to-date inventory information. Additionally, when you are in RF mode, IntelliTrack can automatically generate order numbers or transaction numbers for activities like receipts, issues, check-ins, etc. Also, RF mode requires no need for the end user to get involved with the data sync process. It works automatically behind the scenes. Now let's discuss batch mode. Batch mode requires the handheld being docked in a cradle, connected to a computer, and having a user manually sync the IntelliTrack mobile application with their IntelliTrack account before they can perform any inventory transactions. Transactions performed in batch mode are stored locally on the handheld and sent back to your IntelliTrack account only after a manual sync process is completed. The advantages to batch mode are that there is no requirement for an RF connection, and this is ideal for customers that have to perform inventory transactions in locations that are remote, rural, secluded, or generally speaking, impossible to set up any form of wireless coverage within them. Additionally, users have the ability to review the data that was collected on the handheld and make changes or edits or delete transactions prior to committing them to their IntelliTrack account. And then finally, data is stored locally on the handheld and can exist there for an indefinite period of time, so long as the handheld remains charged. So this is ideal if the handheld has to travel out or be sent out to a job site or a remote location. Okay, let's move over to IntelliTrack and take a hands-on look at working with both RF mode and batch mode. So I'm going to share a demo account with you guys so that you can see my screen and we can work on this together and present this to you. The first thing I'll point out is that the ability to select either an RF or batch data collection mode is a universal feature available to you as long as you have licensing for IntelliTrack Mobile. During this webinar, I am logged into an IntelliTrack Inventory plus IntelliTrack Assets demo account. So depending on your IntelliTrack account, some of the screens, features, etc. that you see may be available to you and some may not. If you have any questions on that, certainly follow up with us and we'll be happy to answer them. So I think the best place for us to start is on the mobile device. So I'm actually going to share a mobile device screen with you as well and show you first where to go to change or select the data collection mode you prefer to use. And when you're logged into the application from the main screen, it's very simple to navigate to this. You choose Tools, Mode, and you're brought to the application mode screen. Very simply here, you choose which radio button you wish to use, RF mode or batch mode, and then click the check mark to save that mode selection. Okay, so for our first data collection example, I want to start today in RF mode. So I'm going to leave that selected and click the check mark. And we're going to start out by performing a simple receiving transaction. So today, if we look at inventory data in my demo account, there are no transactions present. It's an empty database right now relative to inventory data for warehouse 2. We're going to populate this by doing a receiving transaction, and I'm going to choose orders, receipts, and with RF mode, I can actually have the system generate an order number automatically. So I'll click the ellipsis button, the system goes out, it grabs the next consecutive order number, populates it automatically, and puts it in the field for me. I'll choose my vendor by selecting vendor from my drop-down list here. And then we'll move over to details and we'll start entering in line items for this receiving transaction. So the first thing I would do is scan the location that I want to use for the transaction and then scan the item number. When I scan the item number, the system in RF mode automatically validates that it's the correct item number, displays the description, hand broom set, and then gives me the opportunity to enter how many I'm receiving. And I simply hit the enter key. Brings me back to my line item detail screen, and at this point, I can make a decision. Do I have more line items that I want to receive, or am I done? And in this example, I'm going to finish with just a single line item, choose to save the entire transaction. And this is where RF mode is actually validating everything that we just did, posting it to our account up in the cloud, clearing the screen, and now presenting to say, here's the next transaction that you can perform, a new receiving transaction if you like, or I can cancel and go back to the main menu. To show you the results of that, let's come back to the PC, refresh the inventory data screen, and you can see that real-time immediately posted is that item 1 hand broom set, location B1, 20 of them are in stock. So with no need on the user's part to have to worry about syncing that data, when we're in RF mode, that sync process happens automatically. Okay, let's switch now over to batch mode. So let's go back to the main menu of the application. Let's choose Tools, Mode, and this time we're going to switch from RF mode to batch and click the Save button. The application warns me that I do need to log out and restart the application, which I'll go ahead and do. Come back to my application list, just as we did earlier. The application presents my login screen. I need to make sure I use the right account again. Put in my username and password, check off that I agree to terms and conditions, log in, and I'm back to where I need to be. But now, in batch mode, it's important to understand that before we take the handheld out of the cradle, we need to first, and go out into the field to use the application in batch mode, we first need to populate it with the latest data set that's in our account. And so we do that through a process called sync. We click sync and we click download, and now the handheld begins reaching out to our account up in the cloud and downloading all of the information we need in the cloud account to our handheld so that we are free to walk off into a batch mode wherever we need to operate and not have to be connected to a wireless connection. So you'll see the screen going through the download process The upload happens much faster. The download, because there's all of this data behind the scenes to help us with validation and lookups, the download does take a couple of seconds here. But you'll see all of these different variables, customers, vendors, assignees, conditions, inventory, are all being pulled down to the device so that what we need is there locally on the device and we don't need RF. Once it completes, I'm now able to pull the device out of the cradle, walk out into the field, out to my job site, ship the unit to somebody else, and let them go ahead and start processing transactions in batch mode. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go into orders and receipts just like we did before. You'll notice an immediate difference that the ellipsis button is gone. That's because automatic ordering number is only available in RF mode. So I'm going to manually put in a purchase order number here. We still have the ability to look up vendors, so I'll choose vendor 1 just like I did earlier. We'll move to the details tab and we'll populate a new line item. I'll key in a different location and a different item number by scanning the data in, and then it validates just like it did in RF mode on this data. So item number, item 4 does exist. It's a power drill. I'll key in my quantity, hit the enter key, and I'm back to the line item details screen. I can continue with multiple line items just like we talked about before, or decide we're done, click the save button, the screen clears, and I'm ready to process my next receiving transaction. Now, keep in mind, because this is batch mode, that data has not been sent back to our account yet. So if I refresh our inventory data screen, the only record that's going to be there is the one collected earlier when we were in RF mode. So what we need to do is bring the device back, dock it in the cradle again, and once it makes a successful connection, choose to sync and upload the data that we've collected. Now it logs in, it uploads the transactions, it validates everything, and it logs out. Upload process very quick. And now the net result of that is, again, it's not on our inventory data screen just yet. We first need to go to the, here it is, refreshed, it's not there yet. You need to choose portable and batch processing. Remember, I talked about one of the benefits of batch, which is that it puts the data into a temporary holding area, and that holding area is what we call the upload processing screen. This gives you the opportunity to decide, do I need to edit any of the transactions that were collected on the handheld? Do I need to delete any of them? Do I want to simply delete all of these transactions? I don't like what was done on the portable device. So it's a great stopgap, sort of temporary pause to validate and put a set of eyes in front of the data that was collected and make a decision before you actually decide to commit it to your database. So in this case, I like what I see. Everything looks valid. I'm not going to make any adjustments. I'm simply going to choose Process Records. When I click this button, the system warns me and just says, are you sure? Process upload data. I say OK. It processes everything, clears the screen, and the net result is now that data has been successfully added to my inventory data screen. So right here on the screen now you can see B1 item 1, 20 hand brooms collected in RF mode, and finally B2 item 4 power drill, 25 of them collected in batch mode. During the session, we defined and demonstrated both RF and batch modes in IntelliTrack Mobile. We showed how to select and change modes within IntelliTrack Mobile, as well as how data collection works in each mode. If you have any comments or questions, please contact us directly by calling 1-888-583-3008 option 8 or email us at sales@intellitrack.com. We welcome all customer feedback and look forward to answering any questions you may have.